Finally, we can do math. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are talking about Simultaneous Equation Cannon, more specifically inside of Labrynth. Because Simultaneous Equation Cannon is an insane power card that just allows trap decks a lot more power. At least if they do not need their extra deck. So, we're playing it within Labrynth, and yeah, you'll see what this card does in a little. I am going to explain it in a solo mode, just to kind of show you what it does and how it works. But for right now, I'm just going to do the card by card for Labrynth, and we'll talk about doing math in a second. First and foremost, we don't have nearly as many draw cards as there are in like the TCG or in the OCG. So, well, technically speaking, we don't, but realistically speaking, we do. So I'm playing a bit different amount of cards here. Also, I believe we're also missing one of the other traps that is generally played. I could be wrong, but I think we're also missing one of the other traps. Anyway, let's just do the card by card. Starting off, I'm playing one Ariana. This comes up occasionally where you can summon it off of something like a Welcome or a Big Welcome in order to get you another Lady Lab, just to kind of put additional bodies onto the field or something along those lines. It's very useful. It comes up occasionally, but for the most part, we're just playing the one. I'm playing one Lovely. This somehow always ends up in my hand, so of course we're only playing the one. And then 3 Lady, and that's it for the monsters. As for the spells, we're running 5 spells. Upstart Goblin to draw cards, Pot of Duality to see additional cards, and 3 runic spells, 2 Flashing Fire and a Runic Destruction. Now this may seem extremely strange. Why are we playing runic cards? What's the purpose for the runic cards? Well, you might notice there are runics in our extra deck, and this has to do with some of the math involved with the Simultaneous Equation Cannon, but it's also similarly useful for playing around something like the Trap Trick Lock, or just overall still having access to some sort of interaction while having a set card, which is very nice. So overall, very nice. Also, it gives you protection with Yugioh from back row removal, which is, again, very good. And then the rest of the cards are 30 traps. Now, if you don't like traps, hate to break it to you, that's how this deck works. We're playing 2-Dimensional Barrier. We're only playing 2 because it's actually not that good. Hate to break it to you, it's actually not. We're playing 3 apiece of Imperm. We're playing... Oh, this Imperm isn't normally played. It is normally Dominus Impulse. Not Dominus Impulse. Dominus Purge, which is the Ash Blossom style effect. But yeah, Imperm works just as fine, so there you go. We don't have the Dominus cards. We would play those if we could, but alas we don't. 3 Trap Trick. This is the heart and soul of the deck, genuinely. I wish I was kidding, but this card is so very good. It just gets you to anything that you need. It's very, very nice. Play 3 of this. We're playing 2 IDP. It's a hard once per turn, which makes it not nearly as useful as pretty much all of the rest of these cards. So yeah, in terms of like removal, it's just better to have something like a Daruma Cannon. So we're playing 3 of that as well. We're also playing 3 Welcome and Big Welcome, because that is our only real way of getting into our monsters. Also, Welcome ends up being significantly better most of the time than Big Welcome. So consider going for setting like Welcome off of a Lady instead of setting a Big Welcome. We'll talk about Simultaneous Equation Cannon. We're playing 3 of that as well. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm playing 2 Judgment as well as 2 Anti-Spell for back row removal as well. Again, having our back row wiped is not very good, so we don't want that to happen. Also, because Red Reboot does exist, playing Solemn Judgment does make sense here. Also, it's just good in general. Then we're also playing the 3 Solemn Strike as well, which is very, very good. Yes, it's not a normal trap, but it's still very strong. And then the 1 Skill Drain. Now, Simultaneous Equation Cannon. What does it do? What it does is it banishes the entire field that your opponent controls. That's pretty good. However, in order to do this, you have to banish a fusion monster and 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank from your extra deck, whose combined level and rank equal the total number of cards in both players' hands and on the field. Then, you can return one of the banished monsters from the extra deck, 2 of your banished monsters from the extra deck, an Xyz and a fusion with the combined level and rank equal to the level or rank of a face-up monster your opponent controls, then banish all cards they control. Now, that probably didn't make sense to you, and that's okay. What you need to know is you count up all of the cards in both players' hands and on the field, and then you get your number. That number needs to be the combined ranks of 2 Xyz monsters and the level of a fusion monster. Basically, the numbers on 2 Xyz monsters and a fusion monster from your extra deck. Right? Then you need to make sure that there is a level or rank on your opponent's field that you can put 2 of those, the fusion and the Xyz, back into the extra deck in order to utilize that number and banish the entire field. It doesn't target the card or interact with the card in any capacity, so it's not like it can be... Like, you could still activate it with the Pearly Noir on your opponent's field. Like, the Pearly Noir is good. I don't know if it gets banished, actually. I don't know how that works. But you could still interact with the Pearly Noir as, like, the rank necessary, if that makes sense. Unaffected monsters are not going to prevent you from, like, getting the banishing effect. I don't know if they'll get banished because I haven't come into that situation, but you'll be able to banish the rest of the field. Anyway, so basically, we're playing a whole bunch of random fusions. All of these are not necessary, except for Hugin, and that's it. That's the only one that is actually necessary. The rest of these just happen to be the right levels. None of the rest of these Xyz monsters or fusion monsters come up. It's just Hugin. Hugin's the only one that you need in the extra deck. As long as you have a level 1 fusion, a level 2 fusion, a level 3 fusion, a level 4 fusion, a level 5 fusion, a level 6 fusion, and a level 7 fusion, you're good for the fusions. As far as the Xyz, you need 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, and 2 6s. And I'll explain this a little bit better in the solo mode. But yeah, that's all you need to know for now. Okay, so I've set up a scenario here where we can activate our Simultaneous Equation Cannon, and there are 10 cards, 5 on my field, 4 in my opponent's hand, and 1 on their field. That is 10 total cards. With that, they have a level 7. So I need to be able, with a monster with a purple monster, right, with a fusion, and with an Xyz, I need to be able to reach 7 and have the additional Xyz sent equal 10 plus the 7, right? So basically, if I send something, like, for example, there are a few ways to get to 10 here, right? I can send 2 4s and a 2, which get me to 10. So that's 10, which means I can do that. However, they have a 7 on field. That wouldn't work. I could also send 2 3s, which is 6, and a 4, which is 10, and then a 4 and a 3 would also equal 7. So let's do that, okay? I'm going to activate the Simultaneous Equation Cannon. As you see, the things pop up in what I can possibly send. Now, the thing is, this doesn't help you as much as you would think, because it's not going to allow you to to resolve the second part, which requires you to banish. So basically, no matter what happens, you will always have to banish a fusion and 2 Xyz. However, the second part of the effect does not have to apply, right? You do not have to return cards to banish the field. You just have to do this. So, with that in mind, if this card is activatable, that does not mean it is going to get the banish effect. You do have to do the math yourself. The buttons will not click for you, okay? So we have to banish the 2 3s and the 4, and now we can apply the additional effect. Because this is a 7, we can return a 3 and a 4, bada bing, bada boom, and now the field is banished. And that's ultimately what it looks like. Make sense? Probably not. Alright, so here we are going second, and this is going to show you generally the game plan going second, which is literally just set 5 and hope and pray, basically. So my opponent is on White Forest Spright, which is honestly kind of interesting, and we might do that, but also it feels very cope. Yes, there are 2s, but yeah, I did. They're also playing Azuroon, which is the Silver Hat Rabbit card, so yeah, there's that. But this is going to show you what we can do with the Simultaneous Equation Cannon and why it is so powerful. So my opponent is going to go through their entire combo, which is great. They're going to set up a big combo. It's going to be very difficult to out. I don't have realistically much that I can do here, except for hope and pray that this card resolves. And that's pretty much it. We also, of course, drew the brick, because I always do. So there you go. But my opponent's going to go through their whole combo here. They're going to go for the IP Masquerena. They're going to special summon out here. Then they're going to go for the Gigantes. Gigantes is going to then special summon again. We're going to go for the Carrot. They're going to link off here into Elf. They're then going to activate the effect of the Elf, bringing back the Carrot. And then they are going to activate the starter that they had in their hand, grabbing up a Jet for some reason. I don't know why the Jet's on the field. It would have been so much better just to set the starter. I don't know what the plan was there. There was no plan. No thoughts had empty. So we draw another card that we can set. So we set 5, pass. Coolio. It is my opponent's turn, and it's the last turn of the duel, I'll tell you that. So, my opponent's immediately going to go for the Chaos Angel. This is honestly pretty good. I'm going to go for the Ice Dragon's Prison. They are going to attempt to negate here. Now, I do attempt to take the IP Masquerena here, and the reason for this is... Basically, the only reason for this is because it cuts off Gigantic, or Elf, from being able to potentially steal it. And there's not really a better option for me, like... I'm not going to be able to banish anything just straight up. Like, there's no banishing with the effect of Ice Dragon's Prison because none of these guys are spellcasters. They're all Thunders. So, yeah, my best option there was pretty much IP Masquerena. So I'm attempting to steal that. Since I can't bring it back with Elf. So, there you go. That doesn't work. Yada yada. Not really that big of a deal. They did use the Carrot effect here, which is great, because we have Trap Trick, which can get us into the Simultaneous Equation Cannon. They're then going to Synchro here, once again, into Tri-Edge Master, in order to draw a card. I'm like, oh, I don't like that, but not really a whole lot that I can do about that. They're then going to shuffle back again, and here is where I decide to try and go for the Simultaneous Equation Cannon here. So I'm going to chain here. They're going to negate with the red, and that's A-okay. Not really that big of a deal. But, let's quickly count the cards that will be on field. Obviously, Elf can still special summon a guy. So we're going to count the Elf summon as well. If Lady had resolved, we would have gotten an extra card. But, with that being said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cards. Okay? 15 cards. Got it? 5 from me, 10 from my opponent. So, with 15, they have a 10, they have a 6, they have a 4, and they have a 2. Obviously, we're not realistically going to be able to get a 2, nor a 4, but there is a chance we can get a 6, there is a chance we can get a 10. 10, 6. So, we need to be able to send something that can either add up to 10 or add up to 6. Now, 15 is pretty easy, because 15 is divisible by 3 and 5. So, 3 times 5 is 15, bada bing, bada boom, we send 5. And it's really easy because we are also playing a 5 fusion, so we can just send 5, 5, 5. Boom, done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. However, things can change pretty quickly depending on if they send or summon a guy. They do end up going for the Elf here, which is great. That's what we wanted, right? Out comes the IP Masquerena. Fantastic. I'm going to banish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5s. And, yeah, there we go. We're going to put back 2 of them, and away goes the entire field. And that's the game, baby. That's it. That's how it works. Yeah, that whole field gone in an instant. Alright, here we are once again going second. Alright, here we are going first with this. And once again, we draw the Trap Trick, which is pretty much what we want. So we're going to draw into Simultaneous Equation Cannon here, and then we're also going to go for the Duality, and we're going to take the Solemn Judgment. So we have Strike and Judgment, which is fantastic. My opponent is going to reveal that we are playing the Mirror Match. I'm like, that's fine. Again, if I basically resolve the Simultaneous, I pretty much win the game, so I'm not really too concerned. They go for Rollback here, which is kind of strange. I don't know why they go for the Rollback, but they do. Anyway, they're going to go for the Big Welcome here. They're going to go and pop my Solemn Judgment, because of course they do. And, yeah, we're going to pass the turn. Anyway, I'm going to immediately strike the Lovely. And this may seem, that may have seemed weird, but I know they have a Lady in hand, and striking the Lovely prevents them from putting Lady onto the field. It didn't matter. They had Ariana, because of course they do. They're a true Labrynth player, so of course they already have it. So yeah, out comes this guy. They're going to grab the field spell. This is a mistake. Okay. They saw my deck. they saw that I set 5. They did not see a single monster from me. Realistically, I am playing a extremely trap-heavy deck, right? That is realistically what's happening. But they also know I'm playing Lab. So, this is not nearly as useful in this scenario, right? What you want to do is generate as much advantage as you can, but Lab generally is very good in the mirror match, so I don't hate this, but I think you're probably better off grabbing something else of more significant nature, grabbing the Welcome Labrynth, or, yeah, just a Welcome Labrynth, pretty much. But I don't hate this. Right, they go to the battle phase, I activate my Welcome Lab, they're going to chain to grab the Trap Trick, and I'm like, that's fine. I end up grabbing the Orianna here, because of the way that the math works out here. Right now, my opponent has 6 cards, this puts me to 4 cards, which puts me to 10 cards needed, and it's a lot easier to make 10 work than it is to make any other number work. So, like, the higher the number in total both the opponent and you have, the easier it is to activate and resolve Simultaneous Equation Cannon. So do keep that in mind. They're now going to go with the rollback here. Like, that's fine. They paid half of their life points to basically do nothing. But now they have 11 cards in total. So now a Simultaneous Equation Cannon does work. They have an 8 on their field. And we have a total of 11 cards, which is enough for me to banish. I believe it is... What is it? It's 2 4s and a 3? Or something like that. Oh, no. Sorry. I need the Lady Lab to also get an additional card here. Because it's 12, so we banish 4 4s. Or 3 4s, sorry. So overall, very confusing. Stick with me. I'm going to activate my Trap Trick here. In order to... Because what I'm trying to do is activate the Lady Lab so that I can set an additional card. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get to a total of 12 cards on field and in hand. And this does the exact same thing. So I'm going to banish a guy, doesn't really matter. But now, there's a total of 12 cards on the field and in the hand. Or 13, actually. Sorry. Because we still get the big welcome here. Which still works, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because we can banish 2 5s and a 3, which is still 8. So we're still good on the math there. 8 is like such a good number for us. For us to like be able to banish 8 and 6 as well, just great numbers. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, you can see we target this, we shuffle back, and away goes the entire field, and they have a Lady Lab in hand, and yeah, that's the game. Good game. Alright, let's take a little bit of a break from doing math, and instead just show you how this deck works in general. So, once again, we're going first. We're just going to set 4. Fantastic. We did end up drawing the Floodgate, so we're going to flip it. And good thing we did, because it's Gimmick Puppet. I'm just going to immediately imperm this. Reason being, they can send a guy that prevents them from being targeted, so I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. And more specifically, it gets Lady Lab onto the field. That's the big thing. So we're going to just special summon that. I don't like the way that they use the Maxi. Maxi should almost always be used to stop Lady from getting an additional card if you can. So there's that. We draw the Destructive Daruma, which is just a godsend here. So there's that. Also... I must tell you, I clicked the wrong button. I must tell you, Runic Destruction, or more specifically, any spell card, if you have it set and activatable pretty much before you activate the anti-spell, you will still be able to activate it. So, for example here, the Runic Destruction that I set on my first turn before flipping up anti-spell is activatable at this point, even though anti-spell was flipped up. I'm sure some of you knew that. That's great. But just so you know, yes, the Quick Plate was activatable, even though I had set it. And I didn't have to wait that additional turn. So as soon as the turn had passed and it went to my opponent's turn, it was activatable. Just so you know. Anyway, my opponent is then going to go and activate the Horus cards, and I'm like, oh, cool. So this is likely a King Sark of some kind, because of course it is. And out comes the Foolish Burial. They're going to send the Rogue Doll, which is going to add itself back to the hand. And then they're going to activate the Rogue Doll, which is then going to summon another 8. And they're going to special summon that guy and go into the rank 8. Fantastic. Fantastic is going to activate. I'm going to imperm. This just seems like a good imperm, and it gets me the big welcome. Realistically, should have grabbed just regular welcome here, but since I already had the lady, it's fine. Anyway, they just set 2 and pass, and we're gonna go for the big welcome. They go for the ash. I'm like, that's fine. Not really that big of a deal. Just gonna set 1 and pass. Again, playing that slow game. My opponent goes for the this effect here, which allows them to protect from targeting. So I'm like, cool, I'll just banish here with my big welcome and just return this guy. Say no to him. However, that does put Rogue Doll back into their hand. Also, their deck is extremely shiny and it bothers my eyes, but it's fine. Anyway, here they go for Condolence Puppet to mill the Terror thing, which prevents me from interacting with them. Not really that big of a deal because the thing that I care about here is the Destructive Daruma, so again, not really that concerned. They're gonna go and put 2 8s onto the field, so I'm like, what if we just didn't do that? And I'm gonna flip everything face down, as well as give myself an additional big welcome. So yep, down goes everything. They're going to go for the Kingsark. I'm going to pop it with the Runic Destruction, and then pass the turn. We also banished one of the traps and one of the spells, so that's pretty nice. Hopefully they don't play more of those. Anyway, we draw Lady for turn, which is not great, but it's fine. We're going to go for the big welcome here. They have the Maxi, and I'm like, that's A-okay. I'm going to actually, I believe I chained the Lady here as well, which is great. So yeah, we're just going to special summon here, and then special summon the Lovely, and then Lovely is going to pop. I pop a card in hand, and it was the Gimmick Puppet Cattle thing, and then we just reset the Daruma, go to battle, skips, and pass the turn. Let's see what else they can possibly do. They go and normal summon an additional guy. They're going to prevent me from interacting with them again. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to just bounce this guy back to the hand because now they can't X-Z. They don't have the materials necessary or the correct levels. I'm like, that's fine. We're also going to pop the card that they just sent. And out comes Chimera Doll. This card is a custom card, and it's been in Gimmick Puppet for a while. I thought this was a new card. Nope, apparently it's not. This card's insane, by the way. Here's the text. You can pause and read it. It's crazy. Anyway, out comes this guy. They're going to then send the puppet, or the Rogue Puppet again, and out comes an additional 4. And at this point, once again, we just Book of Moon the whole field, and they concede. So, good game. All right, here we are, going first. But my opponent said you can go first. So obviously it's Tenpai. We're gonna set 5 and pass. Hooray! Alright, let's see what my opponent can do with the 6th card. Out comes the Song and Summoning. Out comes Pydra. Out comes Chundra. I'm going to go for the Welcome Lab here so that I have the ability to set off of the Trap Trick. But more specifically, we can just go for the Dimensional Barrier here. Calling Synchros and setting ourselves a big welcome. They're going to go for the Nightmare Phoenix, to which I will go, no. And here's why. That may seem strange. Why did we do that? Well, because we kind of need all of these cards. Like, all of these cards are extremely important. What, am I a bit greedy? Yes. But realistically, they probably would have used something at this point had they had Lightning Storm, Harvey's Feather Duster, Heavy Storm, Red Reboot. Would have been used by this point, right? Especially on the barrier. So, I feel comfortable just no to that. They're going to go for the Song and Coming, add the Genroku, special summon the Chundra, special summon the Genroku, and I go, nuh-uh. So we go for the Ice Dragon's Prison here, and I'm just going to banish both of their Chundras, and then they can just make the 3rd one. I'm stupid. Anyway, I'm going to go for the Big Welcome here, and we're going to go Big Welcome, we're going to special summon out, we're going to bounce the guy, and we're going to activate this guy's effect. They're going to drop it! Oh no! Oh, it's so unbelievable. Wait, does this do anything? Anyway, Fajro comes out, they're going to grab this guy, the Genroku, then they are going to do nothing, because Dimensional Barrier, oops. Anyway, Hieratic Seal, pass. I did waste a bit more of resources than I probably needed to, so, whoops. I draw Solemn Judgment here. We're going to go for the Big Welcome. I don't know why I don't immediately set here, but I don't, so there's that. Not really that big of a deal. They're going to go for their Hieratic Seals and just bounce my Lady to hand. I'm like, that's A-okay. Out comes the Ariana. This is one of the reasons why Ariana is very useful on more, low-income boards. Low-income? Trap-heavy boards, or, where you're kind of running low on resources. Low-resource boards. You can grab the Ariana here. We also did this during the standby phase because, I don't know, reasons. Anyway, out comes, we now have the Welcome set, we have the Solemn Judgment, and I grabbed a 2nd Lady, which may seem strange, but the reason for it is because it's way more valuable, in my mind, to have an additional body against Tenpai than it is to potentially grab, I don't know, Big Welcome. Also, we've already used 2 Big Welcomes, and we already have the Welcome, so I was like, yeah, let's just do this. Anyway, They're gonna search. They drew Imperm for turn, which is kind of funny. They're gonna search out the Genroku. Genroku is then going to be a level 4, and I'm like, that's a-okay. Out comes the Baron. No. Once again, old man says no. Yeah, Baron is not allowed. Also, they have one Chandra in rotation at any point, and it has to be summoned off of their, I think, one remaining Fadra that is currently on field. So we're kind of working around that. They're going to chain here, which is tragic. But it's not the end of the world here. Yeah, they're going to grab up the Pydra. Sure. They're going to special summon the Pydra. Sure. And out comes another one of our ladies. Here they're going to go and search out the Songen Kaimen, and then we are going to bounce here, and I have to bounce the Fadra, because if I don't, I die, which allows me to draw, and I draw into Skill Drain, which is honestly not actually all that good. So they're going to go Striker Dragon here, and then they're going to go for the SP Little Knight, and oops, I said it a bit too early, because now it goes away. Shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. I draw Upstart. Potentially this gets me something. So we're going to Upstart and just pass. Now, again, may seem strange, but I know they have the Fadra in hand. I know if I go to battle, they could just special summon out the Fadra, and then they can special summon out the Chandra, and then it's not great for me, because the Chandra does the full combo, so can't do that. Can't allow, like, I cannot go to battle phase. Even though the SP Little Knight is just going to, like, cook me here, I just can't do that. Out comes Biding Dragon. They're going to activate the effect. I'm going to swiftly Imperm, as well as they allow me to chain here, which is wild. Now, I do know about the Songen summoning. I know. Stick with me. This is why we have the Big Welcome. So Big Welcome is just going to bounce the Songen summoning, allowing us to negate with the Bident Dragon. However, of course, they're going to tag out here with the SP Little Knight. That basically does what we wanted to, which now we can set the Simultaneous Equation Cannon. It's back! Let's go! Anyway, out comes the Chandra. They're just gonna go to combat and then just, like, pass. Now, I do understand this. If the Fadra goes to the grave now, they literally will not have tuner access at all, because Bident Dragon will not be able to bring back an additional guy, because they already used it this turn. So, yeah, I actually do like this play. I think they've played well thus far. We draw the Solemn Strike. I'm just going to immediately set that so that they can't target my monsters, and then we're going to go for the Simultaneous Equation Cannon, and they did the wrong thing. Now, here's the thing. I needed them to keep the Bident Dragon on the field. This is the one card I give a shit about. So, with that being said, they don't do that. They banish the Chandra, they banish the Fadra. Great, fantastic. That's exactly what we wanted, because now we can do this. Simultaneous Equation Cannon, banish a whole bunch of cards, and then I realize, oh wait, maths. I can't do that. They have 9 cards, and I can get only to 6. Oops, that's fine. I can just walk over the field. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. My math was totally fine. It's okay. It's so unbelievably over, except for the fact that we have Strike. It's fine. They're out of resources at this point. I strike this Bident Dragon, which now is not properly summoned as well, which is also putting us on 300 life points, and they can't do anything. They're out of resources. We literally ran them out of possibilities to OTK us with. Hilarious! Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, Simultaneous Equation Cannon is such an insane powerhouse of a card. It feels so good, because you're also having to do this, like, really difficult equation that could constantly be updating and changing to make sure that you get it right, and sometimes you don't do all of the math that's possible, and you still fuck it up. and then you get what happened in that last duel, where you just banish some guys, and that's it. Uh-oh! Now, with that being said, all in all, I still think this card's fantastic, and it really allows you to kind of keep up with the modern decks, right? Which is awesome. Also, being able to run Tenpai out of resources is very, very funny. You're just like, oh, what if you didn't have enough resources? Smile. What if you couldn't consistently keep a tuner on your field? Very, very funny. But yeah, all in all, great deck. Really good card. Solid, fun. It's a bit difficult, and it's not something that I would suggest playing consistent or For something like the Duelist Cup, I wouldn't suggest playing Simultaneous Equation Canon, because having to figure out and keep all of those numbers in your head in a constantly evolving equation when you are on like 2 hours of sleep sounds like a nightmare. That sounds like literally something out of my nightmares. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, that like is very much appreciated. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.